Hi, everybody. I'm Lisa Loring. How are you? This is going to be the reading for Monday, January 16th. And as I have been remembering to say, these readings are, anytime you watch them, sometimes, it comes out, the things that I have that are shared here are often maybe a few days in advance of when the energies might be hitting you or when you're conscious of them. So if you watch them and you it feels a little confusing, come back and watch it like in a day or two, or even like later on in that day. It might make more relevance to you, have more relevance to you, or make sense. Very simply put. Woo! So there we are. Mercury's still in retrograde. Actually, he's beginning to station direct. So I think he actually comes. Mercury is a hermetic planet, by the way, both male, divine, has masculine and female attributes. Comes out of retrograde, I think, on the 18th. So in just a couple of days. So, it's about to station direct. I think it already has. And then it'll start its forward motion. And then the only planet we'll have in retrograde is Uranus. And that Uranus is actually going to be coming out of retrograde, I think, on the 22nd. And all of the aspects they're making with one another are, I have mentioned in a couple of other videos to perhaps subscribe even for just a month. I think it's like $3.99 a month. Robbie Hunt is the astrologer who's doing daily pep talks, and they're more than just astrological talk. So listen to her. Dorothy Morgan is also another one. She's at New Hampshire Astrologer. I've put their links in a couple of readings ago. I'll put them in the links, the description, the links to their stuff. They're really accessible and understandable. Let's put it that way. And I was listening to Robbie Hunt, and a lot of the things that she was saying was really very well explained about how all of, Mercury, Mars having recently gone direct, and Mercury still in retrograde. Mars recently went direct. Some of the things I've been talking about. And then also how Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, and then Venus they've all been, it's like a ping pong game up there in the sky, but it's all for us. And one of the things I really like about listening to astrology, and having learned it over the course of many years now, is the fact that, like we talked about in the last reading and in the reading before then, the reading prior to the reading for Saturday was had the Five of Pentacles, and in this reading for Saturday we had the basically it's the Four of Cups. It's Four of Water in this in the Archangel's deck. But this is a card of like isolation, of not looking at what's working. Usually in the Four of Cups, a lot of times in traditional decks, the person who's depicted is really entranced with this one cup and doesn't see the other ones that are, possibly coming over. This mermaid is so up in her feelings that she doesn't even see the one cup that's coming toward her. So this is a pretty extreme depiction. And of that kind of, and there was that kind of energy over the weekend for sure. We can, and that, like I described, we can either, be excited about what's, some of the new things that are starting, really focus on what's working is always, Brene Brown says that. I've seen a couple of posts of hers on Instagram. I feel like I heard it, but probably via, just, whatever. I heard it in a different arena from a different teacher. When we focus on what's working and cultivate that, Seven of Earth, if we, look at the seeds that we have planted and grow our garden, we can grow an oak tree. There's one of my tea tags that traditional medicinals, I drink one of their teas in the mornings, and they always have a little saying, like, there's one of them that says I think it's a Ralph Waldo Emerson quote. I could be wrong about that, but I look it up. from an acorn, a mighty forest will grow. So just from one seed, like what's working, something can grow that's really strong from the things that have been planted. And the reality is I think we're starting to even, if we're not so like looking, ignoring all the good things that are actually around us, because we're so caught up in our feelings about stuff that are, either we can't do it or we, we feel we want to talk ourselves out of it because we haven't been able to do stuff in the past. So we're not recognizing how much we've grown. That's the seeds that we've planted. Although it maybe not like a wild, we're not wildfire. We don't want to be wildfire. We don't want to be wildfire. Things that grow and are meant to last take time. They take time and patience and presence. This is not very present. But, this is a real thing. This kind of isolation is a real thing. If we can catch ourselves in these moments of isolation, that's actually where this kind of renewal that came up in the center card can happen. When we catch ourselves in those old habitual ways of being, the minute we catch ourselves, we can change it. You can see it actually, you just saw it happen here in this video. I was kind of, as I'm sitting here, I was listening to myself. That's kind of my old way. Like I've actually slowed things down a lot in my life. When I catch myself, I can take this water and instead of being in my feelings about it, I can water the seeds and be like, oh, no, actually, we're going to change this right now. I'm not going to be mad at myself about it. I'm still changing. I'm still growing. And you can take all of this water, all of these feelings can water your garden and grow cool stuff. Anyway, and then we are in mastery. We are in sovereignty. We are, we've got good boundaries with ourselves. Some boundaries too. Organization. That's boundaries, by the way. Anyway, we're thank you so much, Archangel cards. Today we're going to use for Monday. So this is the reading for Monday, January 16th. I haven't used this card deck in a while. This is the Shadowscapes tarot deck. Stephanie Pui-Mun is the artist, and Barbara Moore, again, who wrote the booklet for, although I'm not necessarily using the booklet and I said it, sometimes I will go in there. I'm like, there's something in there I want to see. I'm more of an intuitive tarot reader. I mean, there's a lot of intuition that's involved, but I just kind of riff. But Barbara Moore did the writing for the book for this particular deck. This is a very lovely, lovely deck. Again, one of my kind of first decks that I branched into after I got really familiar with the Archangel deck that we used last time. So we're going to use the Shadowscapes deck. It's very pretty. It's very delicate. It's very etheric. And actually, it's a combination of Asian, Celtic, and fantasy styles of artwork. It's a take on, and it is a take on the Rider-Waite tarot deck. So yeah, I haven't used it in a while, but I did cleanse the deck like I did in the video last time. And that's another thing, cleansing crystals with sage is usually a very safe way to cleanse your crystals from time to time, because some crystals don't want to be washed. Some are really hard and they can really go in the dishwasher if you need to. They've been hanging out and get really dusty. But most crystals, just saging and doing that really nice just doing a really nice blessing of your own making. All right, so what are the messages for Monday, January 16th? We will be celebrating Dr. Martin Luther King here in the United States. Fantastic visionary. Wonderful, amazing individual. His legacy lives on today, as we know, and we celebrate him. And we have one card flipping. Temperance card is back. little bit of a different depiction in this one, huh? I'm going to go ahead and angle the cameras down so we can see. Ooh, hello. Spastically. There's camera 1 and camera 2. Make sure everybody can see. Good. All right, so the Temperance card. These cards are a little more delicate in their artwork, so I'll make sure to, hold them up to the camera like I do. So the Temperance card, as we know, is card of Sagittarius, card of being molded, card of divine timing, divine influence, of being patient, of a card of alchemy. That is a word that I remembered I wanted to mention when it came out last week. So the Temperance card is here. So, we're still being molded by the universe. Once more, the Temperance card is a major arcana card. So it's a major influence. Whereas the cards like the Two of Cups and the Three of Wands, like those are day-to-day influences, here for the day kind of thing. These are more, overarching themes. And this, in this one, it's a very contemplative. So, one of the things I think I talked about in either last reading or, in recent is that, we are looking at these House of Sagittarius is all about, higher ideals, philosophies, belief systems, and having the maturity to look at those without, as a real inquiry, as opposed to it being, oftentimes people, we are questioned about our beliefs, and that can make us very defensive. Part of that is because we haven't actually investigated why that belief system is true for us, why we believe what we believe, why something is true for us. When we are working at this with this temperance, part of that tempering, that molding, that alchemy is that course of inquiry. So instead of it being a judgmental thing or feeling like an affront that somebody's asking you, treat it as a curiosity. And more importantly is, having the emotional maturity within ourselves. I think I discussed it in that renewal card on the Saturday's reading, on January 14th reading, was that, part of renewal is reaffirming the things that we believe, but we have to be able to do that self inventory without the blame, without the judgment, without being hypercritical. Like it's critical thinking, but it's more of an inquiry. Why do I believe this? Kind of like playing with it back and forth, very much like what we saw in the Gilded tarot, where there was a clear pouring from of fire from one cup. Why do we have these passions? Why are these our drives? Why do I believe the things I believe? Does it hold water, let alone fire? And is it strong enough? Is this container, is what I have, does it have integrity? And that's very much a Sagittarian, ninth house kind of thing. Is this high, looking at it within it, and it's this particular kind of maturity that we do need to have in order to make those kinds of inquiries into ourselves. Oftentimes that defensiveness comes up to others because we're being defensive about it ourselves. We haven't made that inquiry. Don't be afraid of it. There's a little dragon in this. It's a little dragon, not a big dragon. It's a little guy who she's having a conversation with. And there is a nautilus, because, this nautilus shape kind of came up in that star card last week. And when a nautilus, you've got to move, in order for a nautilus to continue living, it's got to evolve. It's got to move. We do need to evolve. We do need to mature. We do need to move into other chambers. And knowing that, all of our life experiences have made us the people that we are today. Can we accept that? And if you can't, if you don't like, who you are, that's fine. Admit that to yourself. I don't like these things without the, that layered on judgment against yourself. Why are you holding yourself hostage? Why do we hold ourselves hostage? I think I quoted that Thich Nhat Hanh, which again was, Robbie Hunt brought to my attention sometime during last week, was about we are creatures of really holding on to our suffering because we're afraid to move into the next chamber. We're afraid of the uncertainty of actually feeling joy or thinking we're even allowed. There was a lot of talk about that one card. Here's another card that's come up. The Eight of Cups. Yeah, we've got to move on. We do need to leave behind, and take that one cup. So our person in the Saturday's reading was not even looking at the one cup, right? She was not even looking at it. Finally, we're like, you know what? I'm going to take this cup as my prize and I'm going to move forward with it. I'm going to work with what's working. My mermaid tail is going to, it's funny. I'm using my mermaid cup today. My friend Sheila gave that to us years ago. Yeah, I'm definitely going to move forward with this. And you know what? Maybe she'll collect those cups at some point down the road. But right now, she's going to just work forward with the thing. This cup has a lot for me. There was the Two of Cups in several readings ago, right? In this as the center card. And that was about, figuring out, doing that kind of inquiry. Temperance card, doing that mature, that having the emotional maturity to do that kind of inquiry, to find the things within ourselves that, we can anchor onto, that we can take into the future, into our next phase, into that next chamber of our own personal nautilus. And you know what, maybe if those cups are right for her, they're going to come back to her. But she doesn't need to worry about that. And it's not, she is a little dismissive. There's definitely a flipping of the tail going on here. But, that's necessary sometimes, But, you know what? It's not necessary. We can be a little more graceful. And she is graceful. But there is a little bit of a disarray going on. And sometimes that happens. If you need to do that, do it, and make your amends later on, if that's what has to happen. But sometimes we just, we do need to go forward with, I just have to focus on this one thing. And that's definitely the feel that, let's focus, finding a focus is really, really important right now. And sometimes putting things aside and allowing them back in when and if that's a thing. Time, divine timing will bring that in for you. Yeah. So do we have another card? We do. We have one more card. Ooh, Page of Pentacles, learning new things. Being open to learning new things. In the material. This is a very etheric deck, but it's not as it doesn't have that real groundedness that the other decks have. But this Page of Pentacles is doing in the material world, and he too. Well, actually, it's a she. It looks very. You know what? It's again. It's a very hermetic. This is a very hermetic looking individual. Neither male, neither female, and sitting on one pentacle. Again, taking a focus where you're going to you're going to learn all you can about that one thing right now. Usually the Page of Pentacles in a lot of things can be, the Page of Pentacles can be very open to lots of different things. And because it's hermetic, it's, kind of all over the place. And open to a few too many things. We'll put it that way. But this one is kind of putting the blinders on and saying, you know what? I'm going to sit on my dragon. That dragon is sleeping. That dragon is not on fire. And while this dragon is sleeping, I'm going to learn as much as I can. Got my owl friend there. Soda Light came up as a stone for Archangel Jeremiel in the Saturday reading. I put that in the notes, the description, and all the ones for that. And the owl, I have an owl one. It looks like an owl. Is it here? No, it's not. Anyway, that's it is being open to communication. This is also kind of a card of Mercury. So this is also Mercury going direct and getting ready to go direct in the sign of Capricorn, an earth sign. But one pentacle is in this. I'm very drawn to that. She's picking one. This person in the temperance card is also very focused on one thing. So that energy is here where we're going to, say, you know what? And I feel all of it feels, again, very contemplative. So we're looking to that inside. We know we need to evolve. And, this is a very mature kind of thing to do, is to be able to focus on one thing and be that the universe is holding us, letting the universe hold all the other things that we normally would be, sending our energy toward. We're actually trusting the universe to do that for us so we can focus on the one thing, focus on the inner, and let that divine, come through us. Having the trust to focus on the things that, focus on our priorities. Bottom of the deck, Eight of Pentacles. Mastery here, and making the commitment. And 8 is a commitment number on this plane, but in a co-collab. This one has the spiders everywhere. We talked about the 8 of Pentacles that was in the Gilded Tarot deck, and that one had spider webs too, holding up those discs. Again, we're working co-collaboratively with the universe to make things here on this plane into reality. Spiders work alone, but they make beautiful things that connect many, many, many things. We're connected to the universe. We're connected to the divine in order to, again, letting the divine hold the things that need to be held, those distractions, focusing on our priorities. This is very, 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 as we're coming to the end of Capricorn season. Capricorn is a very industrious sign, very practical sign. So this makes a lot of sense. And Page of Cups. We're also looking, communication. That's another one at the bottom of the deck. So communication that may come in a little slowly. We're letting that emotion, we're taking stock of those emotions in order to, we're listening, we're gleaning information, from the emotions. The emotions will give us, information. I don't know where the moon is traversing. I think it's in Libra right now. And it'll be moving into, Scorpio. So yeah, over the next couple of days, it'll be in Scorpio and then moving into Sagittarius. So, we'll be, taking in taking our time, communicating, listening to the communication, being very pensive, very focused. All loads of focus here. I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you all for joining me. I hope you have a great week, and I'll check in with you during the course of the week. You guys take care. And by the way, feedback, comments, any questions that you have, please let me know.